Good morning, Saidlanders. How are you? The time now is about, it's 21 minutes to 10 o'clock, and I wanted to do this video much earlier and have it uploaded by 9 a.m. But the internet was so poor this morning that it wasn't worth the trouble. It's easy to record the thing. You record straight to the computer. I'm not streaming live. I don't do that because I'm a bit of a technophobe. I battle with technical things, so I try to keep it as simple as possible. But it's the uploading that would have been the headache. And I didn't want to produce the video, record it, and struggle to upload, and stop again, and start again, and on again, and off again, and backwards again, and forwards again. And so I'm doing it now. This morning, I was up early, very early, and an American guy could see that I was awake and working. So he contacted me and said, "Did you know that there were more than just the one earthquake yesterday? That there were many all over the show?" And I said to him, "No, I had no idea of that." So I went and had a look, and in the meantime he said to me, he said something very interesting, that it reminds him of a passage in the Bible. So, as you know, yesterday at Haramanmaras, at 4:17 a.m. their time, 4:17 a.m. their time, 3:17 a.m. our time, a 7.8 on the Richter scale earthquake occurred. It affected Turkey and northern Syria. There were over 60 aftershocks, including one of 7.5 and one of 6.7. And a few hours ago, I don't want to stop to look it up, but it would have been about 5 hours ago, our time, another earthquake occurred, this time of a magnitude of 5.6 on the Richter scale. I did some research on this, and we'll come back to the other earthquakes in just a second. According to this manual here, an earthquake of 9 has never occurred. The Richter scale was devised to pick up the most very sensitive, the tiniest earth tremors. So anything beneath about 4 counts for nothing. You know, if somebody tells you, "Oh, we had an earthquake of 2.5 here in Klerksdorp yesterday," just dismiss it. With all due respect, it may be interesting to them, but it never posed a threat to man or beast. It's only from about 5.5 that earthquakes become reasonably dangerous by Western standards or normal standards of building. In other words, if you lived in one of those wood and paper houses, Japanese paper and wood houses, on the side of a steep mountain, halfway up, and the substrate, the soil, was very soft, and a magnitude 4 earthquake occurred, then it would be dangerous to you. Next thing, you're in the bottom of the valley, dead. But by our standards, yours and mine, normal standards of people not living on the sides of mountains with soft soil beneath them, in modern houses, properly built, building inspectors, codes and standards, they start becoming dangerous from 5.5. Now, how the Richter scale works is that from 1 to 2 is a tenfold increase. That is to say, it is 1,000% more intense at 2 than at 1. So when you get to, let's say, 6 and they're dangerous, from 6 to 7 is 10 times more powerful. 6.1 is double, 6.2, 6.3, 6.9, 10. So a 7.5 earthquake is double the intensity or the power of a 7.4 earthquake. Right. Now, there has never been a number 9, an earthquake of 9, certainly by the time of the publication of that manual. An earthquake measuring 9 on the Richter scale had never occurred, or has never occurred. Okay, so what do we know? A 7.8 earthquake is a very, very powerful earthquake. And so it is that we sit with, right now, the latest that I have, which is from a few minutes ago, by the way, about 17 minutes ago. The latest update was that the death toll between Turkey and Syria, that entire region, about 5,000 people. I'm just trying to do maths here. 3, 4, 8, 4,825 people confirmed dead. And apparently there are many, 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 many more still lying under the rubble. So we might expect as many as perhaps, I'm guessing, 10,000 people to die in this event, perhaps more, who knows? Okie dokie. So, enough of that. Let's go on to the real point of this video, this story of earthquakes all over the show. And I will give you a description of, whoopsie, what happened there? Oh, I've closed the wrong, there we go. Okay, according to this website that monitors earthquakes, yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4 earthquakes of magnitude 6 and above occurred, and a whole bunch more of 4. Now, that's not terrifically exceptional. I'm not suggesting to you that yesterday was the day of history of great earthquakes. However, it is noteworthy that 5, 6, 7, all told, earthquakes, including the 3 in Turkey and the other 4, occurred across the world. 7 earthquakes of 6 and above, definitively dangerous earthquakes. I know it's a bit too early for Coke, and I've cut down hugely on the stuff. Really, I have. I've done very well. I'm very pleased with myself, but I was thinking of something to drink earlier, and I already had about 2 liters of water this morning, and the thought of coffee didn't appeal to me. So I cracked open that can. Anyway, so wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes in diverse places. Let's dig into that for a little bit. But before I get into that, sorry, I pressed pause to do a couple of things, and in the meantime I became slightly distracted by something. I want to show you a very interesting thing in this context. So we're going to talk now about Matthew 24, just a few verses. And I'm going to share this with you because it is one of the most powerful things of my entire life. I ended up making the coffee. Matthew 24, verse 1. Then Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came up to show him the buildings of the temple, and Jesus said to them, "Do you not see all these things? Assuredly I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another that shall not be thrown down." Some years ago, I got this book, The Jewish War by Josephus Flavius. I don't want to digress for too long, but in this book, he describes how when the Romans destroyed the temple in 70 AD, under, typically people think of Vespasian. It wasn't. Vespasian had by that time gone home. He was the general who led the invasion in 66 AD. But by then he'd gone home to become the emperor, and he left the job to his son Titus to complete the invasion and to finally eradicate Jerusalem. This man witnessed how when the temple was destroyed, a soldier disobeyed Titus's order not to, he gave an order to all of the soldiers saying, right, tomorrow we should be able to break through. It'll be the last phase of the battle. They can't hold out any longer. When you get to the temple, ensure that you treat it well, that you don't do it any harm. And a soldier got carried away, and it was witnessed by Josephus and Titus. They were standing at a promontory from which they could see the temple. So they saw how this soldier ran up with a fackel, a torch, and set fire to the cedars of Lebanon. And the temple was burned down, and the gilting, the gold overlay in the temple melted and went into the cracks in the floor. And so Titus explicitly commanded his soldiers to pull up every last stone of that temple, to find every last shred of gold, lest any of it should go to waste. And so no stone was left on top of another, and it is possibly the greatest thing, or one of the greatest things that has ever happened for the sake of my faith, is learning that, experiencing my God's prophecy manifest and attested by first-person witnesses in writing in the most plausible way, in circumstances that can be verified by history. We know that the temple was destroyed by the Romans, and here's a man explaining how it happened and how Christ's prophecy was fulfilled. Now, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age?" And Jesus answered and said to them, "Take heed that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ,' and will deceive many. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation," this translation says will rise up against nation, but I think it's meant to be shall. "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." And I suppose that the point of this video is just to elaborate on the point that Saitlander's friend in the USA made to me very early this morning, long before the sun was up, of how he was reminded of that when he read about how many different earthquakes took place in the world yesterday, including some minor ones. Apparently one happened in Buffalo, New York, not far from where he lives, not very far. And he said that it is absolutely unheard of. I don't know. Isn't it fascinating? The part, I'll end with this as almost more, I think we've concluded now. This is more of an epilogue than anything else. Matthew 24. This is Matthew 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. We might be seeing that happen now, maybe. Let me tell you that many sober-minded observers are saying that World War III has already begun. Sober-minded. Not radical, right-wing conspiracy theorist, end-time millennial, what people. And there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places, in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Makes me think of the pestilence of 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Makes me think of the famine that's emerging across the world right now. Not to mention the earthquakes and the nations rising against nations. I hope that you found this video to be interesting. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to help Saitlanders and Saitlanders work, we need help to employ the many people that we employ. If you would like to, please visit Saitlanders.org. Saitlanders.org. So not the main website, the other one, Saitlanders.org, and scroll to the bottom, and you'll see many different vectors that you can use quite conveniently to contribute to our work. Thank you, and God bless all of you for 2023. Bye-bye.